The bull. He stood alone in the backyard, so dark the night purpled around him. I had no choice. I opened the door and stepped out. Wind in the branches. He watched me with kerosene, blue eyes. "What do you want?" I asked, forgetting I had no language. He kept breathing to stay alive. I was a boy, which meant I was a murderer of my childhood. And like all murderers, my God was stillness. My God, he was still there. Like something prayed for by a man with no mouth. The green-blue lamp swirled in its socket. I didn't want him. I didn't want him to be beautiful, but needing beauty to be more than hurt gentle enough to hold, I reached for him. I reached not the bull, but the depths. Not an answer, but an entrance the shape of an animal. Like me. Snow theory. This is the best day ever. I haven't killed a thing since 2006. The darkness out there. What is a newborn? I dog-eared the book and immediately thought of masturbation. How else do we return to ourselves but to fold the page so it points to the good part? Another country burning on TV. What we'll always have is something we lost in the snow. The dry outline of my mother. "Promise me you won't vanish again," I said. She lay there a while, thinking it over. One by one the houses turned off their lights. I lay down over her outline to keep her true. Together we made an angel. It looked like something being destroyed in a blizzard. I haven't killed a thing since. Dear Peter, they treat me well here. They don't make me forget the world like you promised, but oh well, I'm back inside my head, where it's safe, 'cause I'm not there. The Xanax dissolves and I'm okay. This bed no longer stranded at sea. The door coming closer now and I'm gonna dock some days. I make it to the reading room. They have one flew over, the cuckoo's nest. Can you believe it? But hey, I think I'm getting better though. I learned in the courtyard yesterday. I'm still afraid of butterflies, how they move so much, like a heart on fire. I know it doesn't make sense. This pillow bone shard of will, unwilling me Peter. I feel sorry for anyone who has to die despite the fact I was 15 once, but who knows I tell lies to keep from falling away from me. You wouldn't believe it, a man in the back of a Walgreens once said. "I can make you look like something true." "Fuck," he said. "Oh fuck, you're so much like my little brother," so I let him kiss me for nothing. Oh well, childhood is only a cage that widens like this sunlight honest through the clinic window, where a girl on methadone claps alone at a beige butterfly knocking its head up the beige wall. "Peter, I'm wearing your sea green socks to stay close. I swear I'll learn to swim when I'm out once and for all. The body floats for a reason. Maybe we can swim right up to it, grab on, kick us back to shore. Peter, I think I'm doing it right. Now finally, maybe I'm winning, even if it just looks like my fingers are shaking." Skinny dipping. Some boys have ghosted from this high, but I want to go down on you. Any way to leap from the bridge. I've made of my wrongs. Look, they lied to us. No one here was ever ugly. Look, if you see me, then I prayed correctly. I leapt from the verb, taking off my best shirt. This rag and rage, a tulip too late in summer's teeth like the blade in a guillotine. I won't pick a side. My name a past tense where I left my hands for good. Oh, it should be enough to live and die alone with music on your tongue, to jump from anywhere and make it home, to be warm and full of nothing. Oh, I kept my hope, blue vans on this whole time to distract you from my flat ass. Did it work? Oh, my people, I thought the fall would kill me, but it only made me real. Beautiful short loser. Stand back, I'm a loser on a winning streak. I got your wedding dress on backward, playing air guitar in these streets. I taste my mouth the most, and what a blessing. The most normal things about me are my shoulders. You've been warned. Where I'm from, it's only midnight for a second and the trees look like grandfathers laughing in the rain. For as long as I can remember, I've had a preference for mediocre bodies, including this one. How come the past tense is always longer? Is the memory of a song the shadow of a sound, or is that too much? Sometimes, when I can't sleep, I imagine Van Gogh singing Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah into his cut ear and feeling peace. Green voices in the rain, green rain in the voices. Oh no. The sadness is intensifying. How rude. Hey, knocks on my skull, can we go home now? That one time Jackson passed out beside a triple stack of jumbo pancakes at Denny's after top surgery. "I can't believe I lost my tits," he said a minute before, smiling through tears. The sadness in him ends in me tonight. It ends tonight. I shouted to the cop who pulled us over for dreaming. I'm not high, officer, I just don't believe in time. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a chance. I'm done talking, sir, I'm saying what I feel. Inside my head, the war is everywhere. I'm on the cliff of myself and these aren't wings, they're futures. For as long as I can remember, my body was the mayor's nightmare. Now I'm a beautiful short loser dancing in the green. You think I'll need a gun where we're going? Can you believe my uncle worked at the Colt factory for 15 years only to use a belt at the end? Talk about discipline. Talk about good Lord. Maybe he saw that a small thing moving through a large thing is more like a bird in a cage than a word in the mouth. Nobody's free without breaking open. I'm not sad, he told me once, laughing. I'm just always here. See, officer? Magic is real. We all disappear. Why aren't you laughing? No, not beauty, but you and I outliving it. Which is more so. Somehow, I got me for days. Got this late light in the yard, leaving blood on the bone-colored fence. This thrash of spring we drown in to stay a while and mean it. I mean it when I say I'm mostly male. That I recall every follicle in the failure the way they'll remember God after religion. Alone, impossible, and good. I know. I know the room you've been crying in is called America. I know the door is not invented yet. Finally, after years, I'm now a professional loser. I'm crushing it in losses. I'm mopping the floor where Jackson's drain bags leaked on his way to bed. I'm done talking, officer. I'm dancing in the rain with a wedding dress and it makes sense. Because my uncle decided to leave this world intact. Because taking a piece of my friend away from him made him more whole. Because where I'm from the trees look like family laughing in my head. Because I am the last of my kind at the beginning of hope. Because what I did with my one short beautiful life was lose it on a winning streak. Old Glory. Knock them dead, big guy. Go in there guns blazing, buddy. You crushed at the show. No, it was a blowout. No, a massacre. Total overkill. We tore them a new one. My son's a beast. A lady killer. Straight shooter, he knocked her up. A bombshell blonde. You'll blow them away. Let's bag the broad. Let's spit roast the faggot. Let's fuck his brains out. That girl's a grenade. It was like nom down there. I'd still slam it though. I'd smash it good. I'm cracking up. It's hilarious. You truly murdered. You had me dying over here. Bro, for real though, I'm dead. You guys. Brushing my teeth at 2. In the morning I say, over my shoulder, you guys, I'm serious. What are we going to make of this mess? My voice, muffled with wintergreen foam. What are we going to do now that it hurts when I look at those I love like you two? You who have been through so much together, the thickened skin of it. I'm proud of you both. I say as the foam pinkens through my lips. I'm told our blood is green but touches the world with endings. My name a place where I've waited for collisions. You guys, are you listening? I'm sorry for being useful only in language. Are you still with me? I ask as I peer into the tub where I place them gently down. The 2 white rabbits I'd found on Harris Street the way back from Emily's, where we watched American Dad. On her mom's birthday, her mom, who would have been 56 this year, we ate Rocky Road in bowls with blue tulips. I'm too tired, she said, to be this happy, and we laughed without moving our hands. Perhaps the rabbits are lovers or sisters sometimes. It's hard to tell gender from breathing. Earlier I had scooped them from the pavement. They were crushed, but only kinda one had a dented half face, the other's back flattened like a courage sock. I cradled them wetly in my sweatshirt, but now the tub is a red world save for the silent island of fur flickering. In my fugitive words, guys, I say, just wait for me, all right? Just wait a bit longer, I swear. I'll leave this place spotless when I'm done, I say, reaching back to my wisdom teeth, forgetting it's been 4 years since they're gone. Dear Sarah, what's the point of writing if you're just gonna force a bunch of ants to cross a white desert? Cousin Sarah, age 7. And if you follow these ants, they'll lead you back to stone tablets, an older desert, where black bones once buried are now words, where I wave to you at 2:34 a.m. They survived the blast by becoming shrapnel embedded in my brain. Which is called learning, but maybe I shouldn't talk like this. Maybe I should start over. Sarah, I messed up. I'm trying to stay clean, but my hands are monsters who believe in magic. Sarah, the throat is also an inkwell, black oil wrung through your father's fingers. After a day, beneath the Buick, say heartbreak and nothing will shatter. Say Stonehenge and watch the elephants sleep like boulders blurred in Serengeti rain. It doesn't have to make sense to be real. Your Aunt Rose gone 2 years. Now like a trick they forgot to finish, and the air holds your voice as it holds its own vanishing. Maybe you are the true soldier and hoarder of what's so massive, it could crush you into a twitching, Sarah. Your name sharpens daily against the marble of your mother's teeth. There are sparks in every calling and called. We press our faces to the womb till we're jokes on our way to cracking up. And maybe you're right, little Aunt Queen, with your shoes, the shade of dirty, paper white desert, your pink and blue pens. Untouched after all, who can stare at so many ruins and call it reading? This family of ants fossilized. On the page you slam the book shut, look out at the leafless trees doused in red. April rain where none of us are children long enough to love it. American legend. So I was driving with my old man. The day wasted save for the cobalt haze closing around us. We were on our way to kill our dog Susan. I mean, we had to bring her to the clinic to put her down. This murder, or maybe they meant put her in the ground, though I knew Susan would be ashed in the incinerator out back. Puffs of smoke, little ghost poodles. Where was I going with this? Right, the car, the rain, the legend of joy and pain. My old man and I, the Ford big enough for us to never touch. And maybe I meant to make the hairpin turn too hard. And the thing flipped like a new law, going 80. Maybe I wanted, at last, to feel him against me, and it worked. As the color spun through the windshield, wild metal clinking our shoulders, the sudden wetness warm everywhere, he slammed into me and we hugged for the first time in decades. It was perfect and wrong, like money on fire. The skin around his neck so soft, his aftershave somehow summer. It lasted not a second, but he was smiling, his teeth already half gone, as if someone wiped them away to make room for something truer. Put it down on the page, son, he said one night, after telling me why he did what he did with his life, shit-faced on Hennessy. We were sitting at the kitchen table before his shift at the sock factory. His eyes, raindrops in a nightmare. I touched him, then let go. The car stopped rolling, we hung upside down as things dripped. Steam or breath. I did what any boy would do after getting exactly what he wanted. I kissed my father. He grinned, I think. His pupils elsewhere. I reached back, unlatched the cage. The dog stepped out, sniffed my old man, still warm, then ran into the trees, into her second future. I walked from the wreck till the yards became years, the dirt road a city, until my face became this face and the rain washed the gasoline clean from my fingers. I found a payphone in the heart of the poem and called you collect to say all this knowing it won't make a difference, only more. So hello, hi, the blood inside my hands is now inside the world. Words, the prophets tell us, destroy nothing they can't rebuild. I did it to hold my father, to free my dog. It's an old story, Ma, anyone can tell it. The last dinosaur. When they ask me what it's like, I tell them imagine being born in a hospice in flames. As my relatives melted, I stood on one leg, raised my arms, shut my eyes and thought, tree, 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 as death passed me untouched. I didn't know God saw us a failed attempt at heaven. Didn't know my eyes had 3 shades of white, but only one image of my mother. She's standing under an ancient redwood, sad that her time on earth is all she owns. Oh human, I'm not mad at you for winning, but that you never wished for more. Emperor of language, why didn't you master no without forgetting yes? Sure, we can make out if you want, but I'm warning you, it's a lot. Sometimes I think gravity was like, to be brutally honest, and then never stopped talking. I guess what I mean is that I ate the apple not because the man lied when he said I was born of his rib, but that I wanted to fill myself with its hunger for the ground, where the bones of my people still dream of me. I bet the light on this page isn't invented yet. I bet you never guessed that my ass was once a small-town wonder. That the triceratops went nuts when I danced. How once, after weeks of drought, I walked through my brother's laughter just to feel the rain. Oh, windbroke wanderer, widow of hope and ha-has. Oh, sister, dropped seed, help me, I was made to die, but I'm here to stay. Rise and shine. Scraped the last $8.48 from the glass jar. Your day's worth of tips at the nail salon. Enough for one hit. Enough to be good till noon, but these hands already blurring. The money a weird hummingbird caught in my fingers. I take out the carton of eggs. Crack 4 yolks into a day, white bowl, spoon the shells. Scallions hiss in oil. A flick of fish sauce, garlic crushed the way you taught me. The pan bubbling into a small possible sun. I am a decent son. Salt and pepper. A sprig of parsley softened in steam. Done, the plate fogs its own ghosts. I draw a smiley face on a napkin with purple marker. I lace my boots. It doesn't work, so I tuck them in. Close the back door. Gently the birches sway but never touch. The crickets unhinge their jaws in first light, last syllables crackling like a pipe steady over a blue flame as footsteps dim down a dawn-gold road and your face at the window a thumbprint left over from Who's God? The last prom queen in Antarctica. It's true I'm all talk and a French tuck, but so what? Like the wind, I ride my own life. Neon light electric in the wet part of roadkill on the street where I cut my teeth on the good sin. I want to take care of our planet because I need a beautiful graveyard. It's true I'm not a writer, but a faucet underwater. When the flood comes, I'll raise my hand so they know who to shoot. The sky flashes. The sea yearns. I myself am hell. Everyone's here. Sometimes I go to parties just to dangle my feet out of high windows, among people. This boy crying in his car after his shift at McDonald's on Easter Sunday. The way he wipes his eyes with his shirt as the big trucks blare off the interstate. My favorite kind of darkness is the one inside us, I want to tell him. And I like the way your apron makes it look like you're ready for war. I too am ready for war. Given another chance, I'd pick the life where I play the piano in a room with no roof. Broken keys, Bach sonata-like footsteps fast down the stairs as my father chases my mother through New England's endless leaves. Maybe I saw a boy in a black apron crying in a Nissan the size of a monster's coffin and knew I could never be straight. Maybe, like you, I was one of those people who loves the world most when I'm rock bottom in my fast car going nowhere. Dear T. On my desk this field of snow, where you're lying too still, all I have to do is write the right words and I'm beside you again. But all these letters and nothing says your face fashioned from noun's muscular inflection bones, hardened with the alphabet's reduction, see? A flick of my wrist and a house rises from the snow, a wide porch like you wanted sunflowers in the front yard, late afternoon light on the latticed apple pie, a bed with cloud-white blankets, and a fireplace that won't look a bit of ink on the pad. And we're running down the street again after the thunderstorm, platelets still plenty in veins beneath your cheek, green branches in a sunset sky which is almost impossible, is too much, so I scratch it out, I make laughter, instead make a song on the radio that erupts into static the moment I enter your throat opening, into woe, but let me spell out, these maples just right, so we'll have a few more seconds in the shade. Look, you say the trees are falling, they're being axed down, pressed into white fields or tax forms or discharge papers, or you won't stop coughing up blood maybe. We should go home now, you say my father will kill me, I haven't told my father. I'm on it all. It's all over now, stay a little longer I say, but your voice is already pieces, your grin peeling off in dusted sheets, and I saw this coming. Each night the pen gets so far and runs out of. Nights you write the letter, dear you, and it doesn't work, so you write the poem. But the birds are just holes in the gunshot. Sky, oh man the bad, left to rot into afternoon, when every word was forgotten as soon as the hand moved across the page away from the car crash. But we deserve more than this, you said, this is only the beginning. Each night, the same snowfields, crushed and littered across the room. Maybe I can build a boy out of the silences inside, maybe we can cease without dying, fuck, without tears falling into the truck stop urinal, and we're just too tired to walk home. We're just two boys lying in the snow and you're smiling, because the stars are just stars and you know we'll only live once this time. Waterline. If I should wake and the ark already gone, if there was one shivering thing at my side, if the snow in his hair was all that was left of the fire, if we ran through the orchard with our mouths wide open and still too small for amen. If I nationed myself in the shadow of a colossal wave, if only to hold on, by opening, by kingdom come, give me this one, 8th day, let me enter This nearly gone yes, the way death enters, anything fully, without a trace. Not even. Hey, I used to be a fag, now I'm a checkbox. The pen tip jabbed in my back. I feel the mark of progress. I will not dance alone in the municipal graveyard at midnight, blasting sad songs on my phone for nothing. I promise you I was here. I felt things that made death so large it was indistinguishable from air, and I went on destroying inside it like wind in a storm. The way Lil Peep says I'll be back in the morning when you know how it ends. The way I kept dancing when the song was over because it freed me. The way the streetlight blinks twice before waking up for its night shift, like we do. The way we look up and whisper sorry to each other, the boy and I, when there's teeth. When there's always teeth, on purpose. When I threw myself into gravity and made it work. I made it out by the skin of my griefs. I used to be a fag, now I'm lit. Once, at a party set on a rooftop in Brooklyn for an artsy vibe, a young woman said, sipping her drink, "You're so lucky. You're gay plus you get to write about war and stuff." I'm just white. Pause, I got nothing. Laughter, glasses clinking, because everyone knows yellow pain, pressed into American letters, turns to gold. Our sorrow Midas touched. Napalm with a rainbow afterglow. Unlike feelings, blood gets realer when you feel it. I'm trying to be real, but it costs too much. They say the earth spins and that's why we fall, but everyone knows it's the music. It's been proven difficult to dance to machine gun fire. Still, my people made a rhythm this way. Away. My people, so still, in the photographs, as corpses. My failure was that I got used to it. I looked at us, mangled under the time photographer's shadow, and stopped thinking, get up, get up. I saw the graveyard steam in the pinkish dawn and knew the dead were still breathing. If they come for me, take me out. What if it wasn't the crash that made us, but the debris? What if it was meant this way? The mother, the lexicon, the line of cocaine on the mohawked boy's collarbone in an East Village sublet in 2007. What's wrong with me, doc? There must be a pill for this. Because the fairy tales were right. You'll need sorcery to make it out of here. Long ago, in another life, on an Amtrak through Iowa, I saw, for a few blurred seconds, a man standing in the middle of a field of winter grass, hands at his sides. Back to me, all of him stopped there save for his hair scraped by low wind. When the countryside resumed its wash of gray wheat, tractors, gutted barns, black sycamores and herdless pastures, I started to cry. I put my copy of Didion's The White Album down and folded a new dark around my head. The woman beside me stroked my back, saying, in a Midwestern accent that wobbled with tenderness, "Go on, son. You get that out now. No shame in breakin' open. You get that out and I'll fetch us some tea." Which made me lose it even more. She came back with Lipton in paper cups, her eyes nowhere blue and there. She was silent all the way to Missoula, where she got off and said, patting my knee, "God is good. God is good." I can say it was gorgeous now, my harm, because it belonged to no one else. To be a dam for damage. My shittiness will not enter the world, I thought, and quickly became my own hero. Do you know how many hours I've wasted watching straight boys play video games? Enough. Time is a mother. Lest we forget, a morgue is also a community center. In my language, the one I recall now only by closing my eyes, the word for love is you. And the word for weakness is you. How you say what you mean changes what you say. Some call this prayer, I call it watch your mouth. "Rose," I whispered as they zipped my mother in her body bag, "get out of there. Your plants are dying. Enough is enough." "Time is a motherfucker," I said to the gravestones, alive, absurd. "Body, doorway that you are, be more than what I'll pass through." Stillness. That's what it was. The man in the field in the red sweater, he was so still he became, somehow more true, like a knife wound in a landscape painting. Like him, I caved. I caved and decided it will be joy from now on. Then everything opened. The lights blazed around me into a white weather, and I was lifted, wet and bloody, out of my mother, into the world, screaming and enough. Amazon history of a former nail salon worker. March. Advil, ibuprofen, 4-pack. Sally Hansen pink nail polish, 6-pack. Clorox bleach, industrial size. Diane hairpins, 4-pack. Seafoam handheld mirror. I love New York t-shirt, white small. April. Nongshim ramen noodle bowl, 24-pack. Cotton balls, 100 count. Thank you for your loyalty cards, 30 count. Toluene POR, 1540404 solvent, 1 quart. UV LED nail lamp. Cuticle oil, value pack. Clear acrylic nail tips, 500 count. May. Advil, ibuprofen, 4-pack. Vicks VapoRub, twin pack. Portable electric nail drill. Salonpa heat activated muscle patch, 40 count. Lipstick, Night Out Red. Little Debbie chocolate zebra cakes, 4 boxes. June. Large Folklay planter pots, value set. Carnation condensed milk, 6-pack. Clear nail art acrylic liquid powder dish bowl, 2 PCS. Birthday card, sun, pop-up mother and son effect. Nike Elite basketball shorts, men's small. July. Savaland holographic gold nail powder, 6 colors. Nescafe Taster's Choice instant coffee. Advil, ibuprofen, 4-pack. Pixner pedicure double-sided callus remover. Bengali medicated cream, 3-pack. August. New Chic ochre summer dress floral print, size 6. Wrigley's double mint gum, 8-pack. Plastic Adirondack lawn chair, colonial blue. September. Nail buffers and files, 10 PCS. Copper tone sunblock, 6 ounces. October. Cozy Nights fleece blanket, pink. Sleepy's melatonin caps, 90 count. Icy hot maximum strength pain relief pads. November. Tampax, 24 count. Fluorescent hair clips, 3-pack. December. Advil, ibuprofen, maximum strength, 4-pack. True Grow tulip bulbs, 24 PCS. January-February. Healthline compact trigger release folding walker. Yankee Candle Midsummer's Night, large jar. March. Chemo Glam cotton head scarf, sunrise pink. White socks, women's small, 12-pack. April. Chemo Glam cotton scarf, flower garden print. Warrior Mom breast cancer awareness t-shirt, pink and white. May. Mueller 255 lumbar support back brace. June. Birthday card, sun, we will always be together, Snoopy design. July. Eternity aluminum urn, dove and rose engraved, small. Perfect memories picture frame, 8 by 11 in, black. Burt's Bees lip balm, honey 1 PC. August. September. Easy Grow windowsill herb garden. October. Your Story customized memorial plaque, 10 by 8 by 4 inches. Winter coat, navy blue, X small. November. Wool socks, gray 1 pair. Nothing. We are shoveling snow, this man and I, our backs coming closer along the drive. It's so quiet, every flake on my coat has a life. I used to cry in a genre no one read. What a joke, they said, on fire. There's no money in it, son, they shouted, smoke from their mouths. But ghosts say funny things when they're family. This man and I, we take what will vanish anyway and move it aside, making space. There is so much room in a person, there should be more of us in here. Traveler who is inches away but never here, are you warm where you are? Are you where you are? Something must come of this. In one of the rooms in the house the man and I share, a loaf of rye is rising out of itself, growing lighter as it takes up more of the world. In humans, we call this aging. In bread, we call it proof. We're in our 30s now and I rolled the dough just an hour ago, pushing my glasses up my nose with a flour-dusted palm as I reread, the hand-scrawled recipe given me by the man's grandmother, the one who, fleeing Stalin, bought a ticket from Vilnius to Dresden without thinking it would stop. It so happened, in Auschwitz, it was a town after all, where she and her brother were asked to get off by soldiers who whispered, keep moving, like boys leading horses through wheat fields in the night. How she passed the huddled coats, how some were herded down barbed wire lanes. The smoke from our mouths rising as the man and I bend and lift, in silence, the morning clear as one inside a snow globe. How can we know, with a house full of bread, that it's hunger, not people, that survives? He pours a bag of salt over the pavement. From where I'm standing, it looks like light is spilling out of him, like the dusty sun ray that found his grandmother's hands as she got back on the train, her brother at her side, smoke from the engine blown across the faces outside, which soon fall back to pine forests, washed pastures, empty houses with full rooms. The man clutches his stomach as if shot. The light floods out of him, I mean you. Because something must come of this. When the guard asked your grandmother if she was Jewish, she shook her head, half lying, then took from her bag a roll, baked the night before, tucked it in the guard's chest pocket. She didn't look back as the train carried her, newly 20, toward where I now stand, on a Sunday in Florence, Massachusetts, squinting at her faded scrawl, sift flour, then beat eggs until happy yellow. The train will reach Dresden days before the sky is filled with firebombers. More smoke. A bullet or shrapnel, failing to find her. The brother under rubble, his name everywhere around her like the snow falling on your face 40 years later, on December 2nd, 1984, while your mother carries you, alive only 3 hours, the few steps to the minivan where your grandmother, 60 now, crowns your head with her brother's name. Peter, she says, Peter, as if the dead could be called back into new, stunned bones. The snow has started up again, whitening the path as though nothing happened. But to live like a bullet, to touch people with such intention. To be born going one way, toward everything alive. To walk into the world you never asked for and choose a place where your wanting ends. Which part of war do we owe this knowledge? It's warm in this house where we will die, you and I. Let the stanza be one room then. Let it be big enough for everyone, even the ghosts rising now from this bread we tear open to see what we've made of each other. I know, we've been growing further apart, unhappy but half full. That clearing snow and baking bread will not fix this. I know, too, as I reach across the table to brush the leftover ice from your beard, that it's already water. It's nothing, you say, laughing for the first time in weeks. It's really nothing. And I believe you. I shouldn't, but I do. Scavengers. Your body wakes into its quiet rattle, ropes and ropes, how quickly the animal empties, we're alone again, with spent mouths, 2 trout gasping on a June shore, side by side. I see what I came for, behind your iris, a tiny mirror I stare. Into its silver syllable, where a fish with my face twitches once, then Gonez, the fisherman, suddenly a boy with too much to carry. Kunstler Omen. After walking forever through it all, I make it to the end. The rewind button flashes red, red, red. I sit down and push the button. The screen flicks on, revealing a man in a pressed black suit sitting at the edge of a dirt road, staring into a Panasonic TV set from the 80s. I watch him rise and walk backward, down the unmarked road, past the gutted mobile homes, empty concrete slabs crisscrossed with weeds, then through a pine grove littered with dead needles, which soon opens to a field of poppies. Past a ravine choked with cars rusting from another century. He walks backward through the night green hills, hands in his pockets as the crescent moon, an empty boat, schemes the sky. He walks backward into town, up the steps of the Grand Hotel, into a hall crowded with crystal chandeliers, waiters with plates of caviar spoons, flutes of champagne. The room a kingdom of light. The man is surrounded by merry people in fine dress. They whirl backward around him, faces flushed with opulence. The tie he wears, too big, is the one his cousin, Victor, gave him outside of Drew's package store, saying, "You're a writer now. You should look like one." 3 weeks before Victor checked himself into the psych ward at Silver Hill. One by one the people hand the man a book, the artifact of his thinking. He opens each one and, pen in hand, traces a deliberately affected, illegible signature, until the name, in red ink, evaporates. Everyone raises their glasses, satisfied, mouths open as crickets start up around me, the screen flickering as the tape whirs. I watch him walk backward through the crowd, alcohol flowing through their lips into glasses as he leaves the hall toward the empty streets, alone. He walks as the sun rises, then falls, through days, weeks, then months. He walks backward through airports, convention centers, dips into taxis, even a limousine, then a governor's mansion, Through immaculate foyers of leather-embroidered divans and marble mantels, Tiffany lamps, polished granite counters, rooms just for sitting where no one ever sat. Fresh fruit piled in teak bowls set to rot. The tape skips and I see, on the screen, a sheet of dust shoot up from the surface of a river, then gather into a cloud under a bridge, before funneling into the copper urn cradled in the man's arms. His face looks unfinished. The man's little brother rests his head on the man's shoulder. In their oversized rented suits, they look like ambassadors from a country that no longer exists. It is the country of suns. I watch him leave another mansion in reverse, down a long driveway flanked with phlox and geraniums, down a mountain road at night, through towns whose names you hear only when a hurricane passes through, gas stations overgrown with ragweed and asters, past an alley wide as a gravestone, over gravel medians where somebody's sister was last captured on CCTV. I see him walk backward into a row house with 8 satellite dishes jammed on the garage roof. The dark of a basement. The sound of needle wrappers torn open, the occasional face from high school, 32'd and sucked out under a 2-second match. A voice bashed against a wall turns to dust in his cochlea as the warmth of junk passes through him like a new spine. He can feel their laughter in his hands. Cigarettes spark in the dark, fireflies in a bomb shelter. He walks backward past the cornfield, where, at 7, he lost his dog, Cheetah, and sat for 2 hours in the corn crying, and picks up his suit jacket hung on a broken hydrant. He puts it on and continues backward toward his mother's house, where he kisses her on the cheek in a grimy kitchen, the $50 bill going from his hand to hers, then back into her bra. He heads up the stairs, into the bathroom, and lets the vomit in the sink rise to his mouth. Snot back up his nose. Hands shaking. The tape skips. I see him lying on the floor in a dimly lit room, eyes shut, the dark wetness at his starched collar drying back to tears, the tears crawling up his cheeks. He blows his nose, rises to his knees, hands over his face. A framed medal, an ornate award, slides into his arms. He kisses it, searches the glass for his face, then gets up, flicks on the lights. He's in a dressing room, surrounded by mirrors. His red, wet eyes on every wall. He walks backward through double doors, shafts of light, the award tucked under his arm. Through a foyer, down a wide linoleum hall, reporters flanking him, cameras, forced grins, stiff handshakes, half hugs, then he backs onto the wing of a stage in the Baroque Opera House. The crowd roars mutely, the award raised with both arms, its gold edges glimmering under clinical house lights. His heart of fish tossed into the wooden boat inside him. The tape skips and I see him go backward out of the Stop and Shop in Hartford, the one that starts to crumble, brick by brick, as he gets further away. Bulldozers, men in hard hats, until it's razed to the ground, then replaced by larger, irregular stones, until it becomes the walls of a century-old church, the steeple rising under the wrecking ball's touch. Pieces of stained glass gather into St. Francis's haloed face. He walks backward into the church, where Kelvin's casket glows in the dusky light. Mothers and grandmas with heads bowed. But what he wants, or rather, what I want for him, doesn't happen. Underneath Kelvin's button-up, the stitched pink eye in his chest, just above his right lung, doesn't open. The .45 caliber shell doesn't come out. Won't suspend itself in Sunday's air, won't make an obedient return to the barrel, splinter into lead, polymer, iron, elements, the ash of a star ejected from a cosmos into this one. Kelvin doesn't sit up in his casket to kiss his father, Mr. Rios, on the forehead when the man hobbles back to take the Tonka truck from his 19-year-old boy's hands. The dictator on TV, the noose removed from his neck as the world watches. The dictator crawling backward into the hole in the ground, his face a crumpled law. I keep my finger on rewind, like a good citizen, and the man in the suit keeps running backward through the narrative, that is, the knowledge I've forced on him. Summer approaches spring as he walks backward, freshly 18, into a motel room off Route 4, where his clothes come off like bandages. Where he lies very still on the lumpy bed beside a soldier, just back from the desert, where he left his right ear. The light from the street falls into the hollow where the ear once was, making a medallion of gold on the side of the man's head. The boy runs his tongue across it and waits to be forgiven. On the wall, the shadows of their erections fall, then rise. We are rare in goodness and rarer still in joy. Their clothes return to them like crumpled laws. He walks backward as the soldier walks backward. They smile at each other until both are out of sight. The night returns to itself, less whole. The Maybell Auto marquee a beacon in the fog. And the tanks roll out of Iraq, the women backing away from their dead, rags over their mouths. Books disintegrate to trees as the tape roll thins. The trees rise to their feet. The drugs leave the veins of 4 friends in the Mazda, the car flipping 9 times on I-84 and landing on its wheels, their necks rebone to their lives as they sing Ja Rule and Ashantis, mesmerize, eyes shut in a freshman high. The boy sitting at a desktop computer as, one by one, the words, often accompanied by unsolicited dick pics, vanish from AOL chat screens. ASL? Stats? Are you a virgin? Can you meet now? Are you down? Are you Asian or are you normal? Can I be your dad for an hour? Do you know how to love yet? I can get a room you can do your homework while I work on that ass. Are you there? Hey, I won't hurt you, call me faggot, I need you, fuck you, all of it draining back into binary code. Then the gypsum, calcite, plaster, and lead particles rise from the pavement in massive billowing clouds, and the North Tower reconstructs itself, and September's clear and blue again, and the people float up, arms open, to stand looking out of windows in good suits, in good bones. And the tulips raise their heads, their chins high along the courthouse lawn. The tape scrambles, and I see the boy dancing with his mother in the front yard in the 97 nor'easter, snow floating back up the sky as he twirls under her shadow, cast larger than life by sodium lights. The flakes going up to thicken God's pillow for his never-ending sleep. The ice retreats, the ground beneath him red and ochre as if an enormous mammal had been opened at his feet. And the leaves rush in the gusts, attach themselves, by thousands, to oak branches across the yard. His mother, at the window, lifts her head from her hands, eyes drying. I see the boy walk backward into his house, ease his mother down on the kitchen tiles. His father's fist retracts from her nose, whose shape realigns like a fixed glitch. If I slowed it down here, I might mistake the man's knuckles for a caress, as if soothing something with the back of his hand so it won't fall apart. The cake on the table, air returning to the boy's pursed lips as the 7 candles, one by one, begin to light, and the wish returns to his head where it's truer for never being touched by language. I am starting to root for him, on his way to dust. The tape skips to the family howling, ecstatic on the front lawn, their arms waving in a summer night. The son, clutching his stuffed Elmo, runs in circles as they all head inside, where the mother picks up the phone. She's gotten a job at the clock factory in Meriden. The Hubble telescope swoops the other way. Halley's Comet shoots back behind the trees as the Humvees roll, again, into Iraq. He walks backward past an empty carnival where a tobacco field had greened a few months back. It's the day after the Tri-County Fair, I can tell, where all that remains of October are sunken pumpkins along the road to the city jail, and the clowns sweating on stools behind their trailers wiping away makeup in Python mirrors. The cornfield husked and rattling in the breeze, the highway beyond the pines with its air of gasoline and burned rubber. He walks backward, though there's so little time left to destroy. Backward until he bowls over on his hands and knees. Until he's crawling on his belly almost like a soldier with a missing ear, his gray champion hoodie browning in blotches, until soot appears on his cheeks and neck. His jeans fall away in crisp pieces as he drags himself down the road where he made his name. A thin line of blood lights along his jaw. I press pause here, but nothing stops because my hands are his hands. And all that's left are his tattered boxers as he crawls backward, half naked, arms covered in cuts, toward the smoke rising from the ditch by Risley Road. When he gets there, he slips his feet through the Mazda's mangled rear window, fastens the seatbelt, turns his head toward the shattered window and waits for the glass to reassemble, for the friends in the front seat to sing again, here at the end. Reasons for staying. October leaves coming down as if called. Morning fog through the wildry beyond the train tracks. A cigarette. A good sweater. On the sagging porch. While the family sleeps. That I woke it all and the hawk up there thought nothing of its wings. That I snuck onto the page while the guards were shit-faced on codeine. That I read my books by the light of rye fire. That my best words came farthest from myself and it's awesome. That you can blow a man and your voice speaks through his voice. Like Jonah through the whale. Because a blade of brown rye, multiplied by thousands, makes a purple field. Because this mess I made with love. Because they came into my life, these ghosts, like something poured. Because crying, believe it or not, did wonders. Because my uncle never killed himself, but simply died on purpose. Because I made a promise. That the McDonald's arch, glimpsed from the 2 a.m. rehab window off Chestnut, was enough. That mercy is small, but the earth is smaller. Summer rain hitting Peter's bare shoulders. The pity of it. Because I stopped apologizing into visibility. Because this body is my last address. Because right now, just before morning, when it's blood blue and the terror incumbent. Because the sound of bike spokes heading home at dawn was unbearable. Because the hills keep burning in California. Through red smoke, singing. Through the singing, a way out. Because only music rhymes with music. The words I've yet to use: Timothy Grass, Jeffrey Pine, celloing, cocksure, light lusty, midnight green, gentled, water thin, Lord, as verb, russet, pewter, lobotomy. The night's worth of dust on his upper lip. Barn joy on the cusp of winter. The broken piano under a bridge in Windsor that sounds like footsteps when you play it. The sharped sign outside the foreclosed house, seeking cat friend. Please knock for Kayla. The train whistle heard through an opened window after a nightmare. My mother, standing at the mirror, putting on blush before heading to chemo. Sleeping in the back seat, leaving the town that broke me whole. Early snow falling from a clear, blushed sky. As if called. Ars Poetica as the maker. And God saw the light and it was good. Genesis 1 verse 4. Because the butterfly's yellow wing flickering in black mud was a word stranded by its language. Because no one else was coming and I ran out of reasons. So I gathered fistfuls of ash, dark as ink, hammered them into marrow, into a skull thick enough to keep the gentle curse of dreams. Yes, I aimed for mercy, but came only close as building a cage around the heart. Shutters over the eyes. Yes, I gave it hands despite knowing that to stretch that clay slab into 5 blades of light, I would go too far. Because I, too, needed a place to hold me. So I dipped my fingers back into the fire, pried open the lower face until the wound widened into a throat, until every leaf shook silver with that awful scream, and I was done. And it was human. Toy boat. For Tamir Rice, yellow plastic, black sea, I shaped shard, on a darkened map, no shores now to arrive or depart, no wind, but this waiting which moves you, as if the seconds could be entered and never left, toy boat, oarless each wave. A green lamp outlasted toy boat, toy leaf dropped, from a toy tree waiting, as if the sparrows thinning above you are not already pierced by their names. The punctum. According to the Smithsonian, from 1830 to 1935, there were over 350 poorly documented lynchings in California, the victims being mostly of Mexican, Chinese, and Native American descent. There is sunlight here, golden enough to take to the bank. There are daffodils and sweetgrass. We have made this for you with our hands. Look at our hands, they say. There is nothing to hide. But you look closer and see, in the photo, a shadow staining the ground, over the sepia flowers, attached to no one. A hole in the dirt. And you wonder if it's an entrance or maybe the mark of something higher, something already leaving on wings. Yes, it's just a bird, they say. A smudge of flight, defects in the camera. A product of its time. This is all a product of the times. Look at the sunlight, they say. How it falls right through. Some things are hidden in plain sight. Look, there was so much space back then. And you do look. You look and it's true. There is so much air to be answered for. But your eyes return to the one black moon fallen on the ground. Life-size period unspoken for. How faithful the memory of a shadow, you think. How you can almost see the author of its curve. Now, if you could please look directly above you, they say. There is still the sky. Blue as the single eye pressed down on us. There is nothing to hide under all this sun. And your hand moves to your throat to make sure you are still the speaker, that English is still your wreckin' wreck, that it hasn't pooled into an ink-dark puddle at your feet. You feel for your throat because history has proven the skull lodged in the gravedigger's hands is often the one behind your face. But these are marigolds, they say. And these the horses. We have retouched them for your viewing pleasure. We have touched and retouched. Now, if you would come this way, they say, there is so much more to see. Tell me something good. You are standing in the minefield again. Someone who is dead now told you it is where you will learn to dance. Snow on your lips like a salted cut, you leap between your deaths, black as God's periods. Your arms cleaving the wind. You are something made, then made to survive, which means you are somebody's son. Which means if you open your eyes, you'll be back in that house, under a blanket printed with yellow sailboats. Your mother's boyfriend, bald head ringed with red hair, a planet on fire, kneeling by your bed again. Air of whiskey and crushed Oreos. Snow falling through the window, ash returned from a failed fable. His spilled ink hand on your chest. And you keep dancing inside the minefield, motionless. The curtains fluttering. Honeyed light beneath the door. His breath. His wet blue face, Earth spinning in no one's orbit. And you want someone to say, hey. Hey, I think your dancing is gorgeous. A two-step to die for, darling. You want someone to say all this is long ago. That one night, very soon, you'll pack a bag with your favorite paperback and your mother's .45, that the surest shelter was always the thoughts above your head. That it's fair, it has to be, how our hands hurt us, then give us the world. How you can love the world until there's nothing left to love but yourself. Then you can stop. Then you can walk away, back into the fog, walled minefield, where the vein in your neck adores you to zero. You can walk away. You can be nothing and still breathing. Believe me. No one knows the way to heaven. But we keep walking anyway. When you get here it will be different, but we'll use the same words. You will look and see only the world. Well, here's the world, small and large as a father. I am not yet your father. I tried to speak this morning, but the voice only went far as my fingers. Can you see it now? For the first time in weeks, I saw my reflection in the cup of coffee and kept drinking anyway. Strange, what a face can do to a face. Like once, I let a man spit in my mouth because my eyes wouldn't water after Evan shot himself in his sister's chicken coop. The chicken's long gone. I had been looking for a sound to change the light in the room. But all I could find was a man. His bright spit. I lifted my tongue as he stood above me. My jaw a ransacked drawer. I said please, 'cause I'm a cold man who believes every bit of warmth should be saved and savored. It's all right, no one can punish us now. Not even the speaker. I am wrong often, but not enough to forget you. You who are not yet born. Who will always be what remains after I build my ark out of everything I lost. Because when a man and a man walk hand in hand into a bar, the joke's on us. Because when a man and a man make love, they make only love. There's enough for you, but not enough for you. You indistinguishable from rain. Rain, to give something a name just to watch it fall. What will I name you? Are you a boy or a girl or a translation of crushed water? It doesn't matter. Maybe extinction is temporary. Rain as it touches ground. Hey, maybe I'm right here. Your dad is right here. I'll leave the rest of this blank, and when you get here, I'll tell you everything. When you get here, I'll show you this incredible thing we can do to mirrors just by standing still. Almost human. It's been a long time since my body. Unbearable. I put it down on the earth the way my old man rolled dice. It's been a long time since time. But I had weight back there. Had substance and sinew, damage you could see by looking between your hands and hearing blood. It was called reading, they told me, too late. But too late. I read. I made a killing in language and was surrounded by ghosts. I used my arsenal of defunct verbs and broke into a library of second chances, the ER, where they bandaged my head, even as the black letters kept seeping through, like this. Back there, I couldn't get the boys to look at me even in my best jean jacket. It was 2006 or 1865 or .327. What a time to be alive. They said, this time louder, more assault rifles. Did I tell you? I come from a people of sculptors whose masterpiece was rubble. We tried. Indecent, tongue-tied, bowl-cut and diabetic, I had a feeling. The floorboards creaked as I wept motionless by the rehab window. If words, as they claimed, had no weight in our world, why did we keep sinking? Doctor, I mean Lord, why did the water swallow our almost human hands as we sang? Like this. Dear Rose, I have known the body of my mother, sick and then dying. Roland Barthes. Let me begin again now that you're gone, Ma. If you're reading this, then you survived your life into this one. If you're reading this, then the bullet doesn't know us yet, but I know, Ma, you can't. Red napalm fallen on your schoolhouse at 6, and that was it. They say a word is only what it signifies. That's how I know. The arrowhead in my back means I'm finally pretty. A word like bullet hovers in an amber afternoon on its way to meaning. The book opens like a door, but the only one you ever read was a coffin. Its hinges swung shut on lush descriptions of a brother. I point to you to me today, a Thursday. I took a long walk alone. It didn't work, kept stopping to touch my shadow just in case. Feeling is the only truth, and they're down there between thumb and forefinger, an ant racing in circles then zigzags. I wanted significance, but think it was just the load he was bearing that unhinged him. Another ant, curled and cold, lifted on his shoulders. They looked like a set of quotations missing speech. It said, they can carry over 5,000 times their mass, but it's often breadcrumbs, not brothers, that get carried home. But going too far is to admit the day ends anywhere. But here, no, Mom, this is your name, I say, pointing to hung on the birth certificate thin as dust hung. I say, which means, Rose, I place your finger on a flower so familiar it feels, synthetic red, plastic petals dewed with glue. I leave it out of my poems. I turn from its face, cliched, oversize, head frayed at the edges, like something ruptured by a bullet. I was born because you were starving, but how can anything be found with only 2 hands? With only 2 hands you dumped a garbage bag of anchovies into the glass jar. The day was harmless, a breeze hovering in amber light above us. Gray New England branches swayed without touching to make fish sauce. You said, you must bear the scent of corpses, salted and crushed a year in a jar. Tall as a boy they dropped with slick thumps like bullets. Each word must stop somewhere. Why not a yellow poet? I put in the fish sauce. I take out the fish sauce. I dance on the line until I am the line. They cross out. They nearly killed me, you said, for being white. With a toilet plunger you pushed the fish down, sound of bones like gravel. The violet vein on your wrist glistened. Your father was a white soldier. I had amber hair. You said they called me traitor, called me ghost. Girl, they smeared my face with cow shit at the market to make me brown, like you and your father. The eyes glared from inside the jar. They shot my brother, you said, looking down, but away from the dead eyes. My little brother, if reading is to live in 2 worlds at once, why is he not here? Ben said you can do anything in a poem, so I stepped right out of it into this one. To be entered is to be redefined. The bullet achieves its name by pushing flesh into flesh. I was struck by these words. We say I was caught by this passage. It moved right through, opened me up. These eyes reading, not yet healed shut, but full of leaden meaning. Which parts? A red sea inside me, sinew dusted to soft tissue. My blood, a borderless translation of errors in the reader's hands. A gaping rose hong, I say, which also means pink, the shade every bullet meets before finding its truest self. Calvino said, human instinct is to laugh when someone falls. The soldiers were cracking up as they fired. Your brother running his sky blue shirt, pink on the ground. Our evolution as hunters, Calvino went on. The collapsed body a signal of meat, thus hunger leads to lethal joy. It's almost perfect. You smiled, your nose deep in the jar, because the bullet makes you real by making you less, which is perfect in poems. The text, amplified by murderous deletions, leads to inevitable art. The pristine prisoner in his marble coffin, the length of a fish, a timeline across the page to document days. The dead, a measurement of living distance, the corpse blooming as it decays. Pink rose hong. Mom, are you reading this, dear reader? Are you my mom yet? I cannot find her without you. This place I've made you can't enter. Within months their meat will melt into brown mucus, rot almost sauce. The linear fish spine dissolved by time at last. Pungent scent of ghosts. You said you named me after a body of water. Cause It's the largest thing you knew. After God I stare at the silvered layers, the shadowed line between two. Pressed fish is a finger in the dark gently remembered, in the darkest finger, on my lips Mahasho, your friend the man watching me, while you work the late shift in the Timex clock factory. Why am I thinking this now? The gasped throats. Mottled pocked fins gently the door its blade of amber light widening as it opened. Shoo, it sounds like an animal, being drowned as you churned. The jar your yellow-white arms pink, fish guts foaming up gently you must. Remember gently the man he's in. The 90s still his face a black rose. Closing, do you know what it's like, my boy you said, sweating above the jar, to be the only one hated, the only one, the white enemy of your own country, your own face. The trees, they were roaring. Above us red leaves leaving little cuts in the sky. Gently I touched your elbow, the fish swirling in their gone merry-go-round. Sightless eyes, no ma, I said, holding my breath. I don't know what it's like, and turned my head up toward the sun, which brightly cancels. If you're reading this, then I survived my life into yours. You who told your brother you were hungry, so he stole a roasted chicken, so he tucked it under his sky blue shirt, and it's not your fault, reader. You had to work, you had to get up in the blood blue dawn to warm up your car. You who held instant coffee with both hands, ate your lunch of Wonder Bread dipped in condensed milk in the parking lot. Alone you bought me pencils, reader. I could not speak, so I wrote myself into silence where I stood waiting for you, ma, to read me. Do you read me now? Do you copy? Mayday, mayday, you who dreamed of dipping shreds of chicken into fish sauce as you hid in the caves above your village, you white devil girl, starving ghost. But I shouldn't have been so hungry, you said, looking up at the leaves vermilion through the brother blue sky. I hated my hunger, the veins on your fists, the jar all amber crush, empty as a word less mine. Stop writing about your mother, they said, but I can never take out the rose it blooms back as my own pink mouth. How can I tell you this when you're always to the right of meaning as it pushes you further into white space? How can I say the whole in your brother's back is not a part of your brother, but your brother, a part who is still somewhere running, because I wrote it in the present tense. The bullet held just behind his death, an insect trapped in amber, the charred chicken clutched to his chest, dust rising from sandals as he sprints toward the future where you're waiting by the rain warped window, wet footsteps on Risley Road. But dear reader, it's only your son coming home again after school, after the bullies put his face in brown dirt. What if I said the fastest finger pointing to you, ma, is me? Would you look away? I point to you. No, I went right through you, left a pink rose blazing in the middle of the hospital in Saigon. Reader who cannot read or write, you wrote a son into the world with no words but a syllable, so much like a bullet its heat fills you. Today a Thursday, ours not Vallejos, partly cloudy, a little wind. I kneel to write our names on the sidewalk and wait for the letters to signal a future, an arrow pointing to a way out. I stare and stare until it grows too dark to read. The ant and his brother long home by now, night flooding the concrete black, my arms dim as incomplete sentences. Reader, I've plagiarized my life to give you the best of me and these words, these insects, anchovies, bullets salvaged and exiled by art, ma, my art, these corpses I lay side by side on the page to tell you our present tense was not too late. Woodworking at the end of the world. In a field after everything, a street lamp shining on a patch of grass. Having just come back to life, I lay down under its warmth and waited for a way. That's when the boy appeared, lying next to me. He was wearing a Ninja Turtles t-shirt from another era, the colors far away. I recognized his eyes, black buttons salvaged from the coat I used to cover my mother's face at the end. Why do you exist? I wanted to know. I felt the crickets around us, but couldn't hear them. A chapel on the last day of war. That's how quiet he was. The town I had walked from was small and American. If I stayed on my knees, it would keep all my secrets. When we heard the woodcutters coming closer, destroying the past to build the future, the boy started to cry. But the voice that came out was an old man's. I reached into my pocket, but the gun was gone. I must have dropped it while burying my language farther up the road. It's okay, the boy said at last. I forgive you. Then he kissed me as if returning a porcelain shard to my cheek. Shaking, I turned to him. I turned and found, crumpled on the grass, the faded red shirt. I put it over my face and stayed very still, like my mother at the end. Then it came to me, my life. I remembered my life the way an axe handle, mid-swing, remembers the tree. And I was free.